What's up everyone, my name is Jason Bull. Welcome back to Tech Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about how to keep your face off of the ground when attempting to jump. Now jumps can be a lot of fun, but they do really suck when you do end up landing on your face. If you've seen any of our Thursday Donderdag reels or any of the infamous Friday pink bike fails, you would have noticed that a large majority of crashes do involve a jump of some sorts. Now there are a few classic errors that human beings tend to make when trying to get airborne on their bicycles, and in this video we'll help you spot a few of them and prevent those impromptu dirt naps. Now the first and possibly most obvious helpful tip of advice in order to avoid crashing when jumping is to just go around the thing, especially if you're not feeling very confident that you will be able to clear it. Now that might feel a bit lame, and it probably is. I myself certainly enjoy sending the odd blind jump and the stoke of afterwards figuring out that you somehow got the math right. But if self-preservation is at all important to you, not going for a jump when you're not very confident that you're going to make it is probably the best decision. If you are committed to the send though, here's a few pointers that we can give you in order to keep that face off of the ground. Try to avoid going too big too soon, especially if you are uncertain. A helpful method that I've found is to find a nice tabletop and hit it repeatedly, getting a little bit faster and a little bit faster, but squashing the jump, not trying to take off. Once you've got to a speed where it's getting quite difficult to squash the jump, dial that speed back quite a bit, now that you're comfortable with the jump and you get an idea of what the takeoff's doing, and then start compressing into the transition and feeling the airtime. Now the next point may seem a bit counterintuitive, and that is to not have your weight too far back. Although this feels like quite a safe position, it often results in you getting bucked. That's because having your weight too far back over compresses the rear suspension, if you have any, or generally overloads your legs, and then the rebound effect of that ends up kicking you forwards and over the bars. Confidence when approaching a jump and a nice central weight bias is very important to jumping well. Pumping or compressing just before the takeoff is very important. If you don't do this, the jump's going to do it for you and often results in the suspension kicking back at you and sending you over the bars or into the dead sailor position. You want to compress your weight into the bike and into the ground just as you're transitioning into the takeoff of the jump. This will give you a nice firm platform to jump off of, as well as a more predictable response from your suspension as you take off. As I said, the classic dead sailor can be a symptom of not compressing effectively. If you don't push and put energy into the jump, it'll push back at you harder essentially, and often result in kicking you unexpectedly, and then you go all stiff trying not to crash and probably end up crashing. Have confidence when approaching the jump, commit to pushing into the takeoff, and even lower your speed slightly if you can. Consciously think of not trying to go too stiff when you're in the air. Some little movements can help you maintain active control over the bike. If you're feeling a bit out of shape when you're in the air, don't worry, all is not lost until you hit the ground. Many a sketchy landing can yet be recovered. You can practice absorbing a big case by doing some drop-offs and getting that technique dialed for when you need it the most. If you're unsure about the speed of a jump, it's always best to follow a maiden who does know the speed so he can help you gauge it correctly. As with anything other than doing flat corners, keep your pedals level. Now jumping takes time and practice to get right, of course, this is obvious. So get out there, have yourself a good time, and keep your face off of the ground. Cheers.